Well, good evening, everyone. Well, everyone's not in. Nobody's really in yet. But at any rate, people, I'll wait a minute. I hope that's enough light. Okay, well, I'm going to start anyway. I just saw the end of Jay Wilson's live. I just happened to go on YouTube and I just went on YouTube after I got in my car, just touched it, and he came up and he was on getting ready to um, sign off. Jay Wilson, please get a grip. Get a grip. Please get a grip. Unnecessary. Unnecessary. Looks like Miss Head. Good morning. Good evening. Good evening. Gosh, I can't see. Not enough light in here. Hey, Mimi. Miss D Head, I believe. Thank you for coming in. I just saw the end of Jay Wilson's live. Like I said, I just gotten in my car and I touched YouTube, and that's what came up playing. Um, and this is a call to Jay Wilson. Yeah, okay. Let me say this. When I joined the church, there was a saying that the pastor of that particular church said. He would say, "Are you willing to be ruled and governed by the rules and regulations of this church?" And then he'd say, "Are you willing to follow the leading of your pastor?" And he says, "However, if I stop following God, stop following me." On site, April, good evening. Only one. Welcome and good evening to all of you guys. And that was to say, should the pastor stumble, should the pastor fall, should the pastor not stay in his place as the leader, as the pastor, as the under shepherd, you understood and you agreed that you would no longer follow the pastor. So, Mr. J. Wilson, I'm saying this to you. I'm serving notice on you this very moment. Whether you see this or not, I'm sure you'll get the message. Sir, get yourself together and stop this foolishness. From an older brother standpoint, okay? From an older brother who is taking older brother privilege. Stop it. Grow up and cut the crap. Your threats are ridiculous. And remember, everything you do comes back to you. Good evening, honey. Everything comes back to you. Stop it. You are looking like a complete idiot out here. A complete educated fool. Would you please get a grip on yourself? I don't know whether it at this point it is a spirit of lunacy going around on YouTube, but it seems like people are catching it like crazy. Hey, Doppy. Seems like people are catching it like crazy. Jay Wilson, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're calling yourself the vlog father, but vlog father, you have not been fathering your children correctly. Face it, accept it. Get the tools and deal with it. And stop this craziness. You look completely crazy. You look just like these other people that are losing it, that are breaking down in front of us. It is ridiculous. Good evening, Robbie. Hey Mo, how you doing? It's ridiculous. It's gone too far, and you're staying too long. Now, I use this analogy in one of my earlier videos about the 5 wise and the 5 foolish virgins. The 5 wise virgins took oil in their lamps, and they tarried, which means they waited after the call was made. Mr. Sean Bradley, good evening. After the cry was made and the virgins got themselves together, 5 of them were able. Miss View is a View, welcome and thank you for being here. 5 of them got oil in their laps. In other words, they were prepared to sit for a while and tarry and wait until the bridegroom called them in. The other 5 were foolish, which means they did not prepare themselves. Although they were all virgins, they were all clean, they were without spot, they were without wrinkle. However, they did not discern the time. They did not use the time well. They did not prepare themselves. So, when their lamps burn out, they were asking for oil from the 5 wise virgins. And the 5 wise virgins said, "We cannot give you any of our oil. Go and buy some for yourself." And what those foolish virgins did, they went out to buy oil. They went too far, stayed too long, and got back too late. What do you mean they got back too late? When they got back, the bridegroom had already opened the doors and ushered in the wise virgins, and they were married. When the 5 foolish virgins came back, the doors were shut. They banged on the door, but the doors would not be open because you missed your opportunity. Now, Mr. Wilson, Mr. Wilcox, with everything that you're doing, you're staying too long. And when you get back, the opportunity is going to be missed. Grow up. You're almost 50 years old and you're acting like a 20-year-old. You're acting like a 22-year-old. You are just dragging unnecessarily. And you think that you're being slick and people are not catching what you're saying. But you better watch yourself, because the ditch that you dig, you better dig too, because the first one is going to be for you. And if you're not careful, you're going to dig yourself out of the first ditch and fall headfirst into the second ditch. Now, you can take that as a prophecy. And I guarantee you, sit back and watch it happen. Now, I have kept my mouth closed and I've tried to stay out of a lot of this stupidity. You have projected yourself to be the man of God. Right now, God is not pleased with you at all. He's not pleased. You're disregarding people's feelings. You're not caring about anyone but yourself and your coin. And you care about your coin more than you care about you, because, and let me explain this to everybody in this chat to understand what I'm saying. You care about your coin more than you care about your weight. You put your coin above yourself and above everybody else. Now you're being called into question. Now I challenge you to come for me. You need to grow up. And again, as an older brother from the house of Wilson, I am checking you publicly. If you cannot govern yourself accordingly, sit down and do your first work over and stop this stupidity. Stop this stupidity. It's ridiculous. And you look like a complete educated idiot. But listen to this. Here's another Bible verse for you, Mr. Wilcox, Dr. Wilcox. The letter killeth, but the spirit maketh alive. And that transcends from spiritual to natural. You've got all the letters, but no life whatsoever. You are tearing down the house of Wilson to the point where anybody from the house of Wilson doesn't really want to be bothered with you. We have supported you in your right. We have supported you in your wrong. However, you've gone too far. Leave Tracy alone. Leave Sean Bradley alone. Find you something to do with your time and with your mind. Better yet, suggestion for you. Here's a suggestion for you, my brother. Get the tools, crack those books open again, and get the tools and do the work on yourself. And stop this. The way you are looking right now is you're looking the same pattern of all of these people that we've sat here and watched them have nervous breakdowns. And you don't have to admit it, but the streets are vibrating. And the vibration that they're vibrating with is that people are leaving the house of Wilson. Because the standard, if you will, that you have put yourself up as, you're not living up to it. The example is gone. You're not a living example. We know that you're not perfect. We know that you're flawed. We accepted that and held you up. But you've gone too far. You have said that you want those girls to call you. Did you call them as the vlog father and the vlog grandfather? Have you done what you were supposed to do? But you call yourself you've named yourself the vlog father. And I'm going to say like James Caldwell, if you don't get your behind somewhere and sit down, you better. It's ridiculous, your behavior. And I keep telling you, your behavior is forsaking your word. It's forsaking your word Monday through Saturday, and it's forsaking your word on Sunday. It has forsaken you. It has showed you to everybody as to who you are. I'm sorry for yelling, people. Please forgive me. But it's really becoming annoying. It's becoming annoying. Every time you get on, 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 every If it's not Tracy, it's Sean. If it's not Sean, it's Tracy. If it's not Sean and Tracy, it's Sean and Tracy. Get over it. Go to the gym and work. As a matter of fact, you need to learn how to work out, because obviously, I'm taking older brother privilege here. Obviously, the workouts that you're doing have made your body look deformed. It has made your body look completely deformed. Because if you exercise right, every exercise you do should encompass your core. This way, you're not only working that area, but you're putting pressure on your core to bring your stomach down. And if anybody in this chat knows what I'm talking about, say amen. You are getting on people's nerves. You're getting on people's nerves. And it's leaving a bad taste in everyone's mouth. And it's becoming difficult. And again, this was just by happenstance that you came up playing on my phone, because I had no intentions of, after the experience I had being from the house of Wilson, I determined I'm not going back over there. Because you're looking for those girls to apologize to you, yet you have not set your house in order where it comes to what I experienced, and I notified you. But what did you do? All you did was got on live and said, there is no problem, we're cool. Everything I experienced that night in your chat was a direct reflection on you and your moderators, because your moderators know who I am. They know who I am. And if you didn't see it, that's why you have moderators. You have moderators to check those people, especially if those people are not usually in your chat. You know who supports you. And then all these people that you have had negative interactions with are up in your chat running, flapping their gums. It is a shame and a disgrace. Your pride has caused you to be in disgrace in the eyes of everybody. Yes, Mr. Wilson, I am chastising you because I can. Because I can. Now come for me if you want to. Because you know I'm right. You know I'm right. You're out of your place. Get back to where you're supposed to be. And stop this foolishness. And if you can't get back in that place, then you need to sit down. You need to be silent for a while. Since you want to be Mr. Churchman. You're just as out of order as can be. Everything you do should be in decency and in order. But you are so out of order, and then you don't want to hear anybody. You don't want to listen to anybody. You know it all. And that's exactly the cause of your demise. because you don't want to listen. You don't want to listen. Nobody can tell you what to do. Nobody can tell you what to do. I'm just suggesting to you, as someone that has been where you're going, and as someone that has been where you're going and sees the direction that you are now taking. If you see a brother overtaken in a fault, you reach out in love and you restore such a one in the spirit of love. This is not the first time I've said something to you about your behavior. So let's cut it out. Get yourself together. Get yourself together. Do the work on yourself. And if you got to sit off of YouTube, just like you said to Rita, if you have to take a break from YouTube, take a break from YouTube. Because at the rate you're going to be doing just like some of the people that we have seen on YouTube. Because already your countenance has changed. You have become darker. Your eyes have begun to sink in. And I don't care how much working out you do, until you get into your mind, until you do the mental work, the work on your thought pattern, till you change your thought pattern. You can work out all you want and you still gonna look horrible because you are horrible inside. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Y'all forgive me for being a little out of character. But the threats that I heard with just a little bit that I tuned into, it was ridiculous. You are the vlog father, and you need to watch what you, Negro. If you don't check yourself into reality, you raise children so that they can be independent and that they can make their way in the world. You don't raise children to control them. So if you are controlling them or trying to control them or not trying to let them go, children come through you, not to you. So if you're trying to control them and hold on to them, guess what? There is a mental issue there that needs to be worked through. Listen, nobody ever said that anyone was perfect. No one said that anyone was perfect. However, no one that I have heard of have gone over to Jay Wilson's and tried to pull his coattail. We are all connected. We are all connected. This is not wrong. It is not wrong for me to pull my brother's coattail. I would want somebody to do it for me if they saw me going in the wrong direction. If they saw me veering off course. I would want somebody to pull my coattail and say, Mac, Johnny Mac, I I don't like what I'm seeing. You are not sticking to the course. You're going off course. However, what is not right is the behavior that I'm seeing him do to other people. It is not right. So do me a favor, if you feel that what I'm saying is not right, then go over. As a matter of fact, you can even share this video with him. You can snapshot it or whatever you need to do so that he will get the message firsthand. Because somebody needs to tell him. And after this, I'm done. After this, I'm done, because there's no need to tear anybody down. There's no need to threaten anybody. There's no need to try to evoke fear into anyone. There is no need. No, the way that I am handling it is the way that I handle it. Okay? The way that I handle it is the way that I handle it. So for you to come on my platform and tell me I am wrong, you are misinformed, and you need to open your mind and your ears, because in the process there may be something to help you see a different point of view. And this is the problem with YouTube at this point. Everybody wants to come on somebody else's platform and tell them they're wrong. If you don't agree with me, I can accept that. That's not a problem. Not a problem at all. But let me say this. I'm not talking but from what somebody told me. I'm speaking from my own experience. I am speaking from my own experience. And we are helpers one of another. Now, we all have been in a position where we have appreciated Brother Jay. We have supported Brother Jay. But again, like I said today, I have been a silent partner. But there comes a time when you try to pull someone's coattail and they don't want to listen. And then too, I don't know if you've ever experienced it, and the person that I'm talking to knows who I'm talking to, that even when you were a child, if you had the kind of mother that I had, if you're cut up in public, I'm going to straighten you out in public. We all have mess. We all have mess. We all are messy. However, messy is not pulling somebody down. Messy is not threatening somebody. Messy is not trying to be controlling. That's not messy. That's a mental issue. That's a control issue. And that's totally different from being messy. Being messy, you're messy and then you let it go. Messy and you let it go. But when you hold on to it, it becomes more than messy. When you put a person in a position to choose, that person that doesn't want to choose, that's control. And then you threaten them. And you continue to threaten them. You turn things around and say that this is what they wanted. I gave them what they wanted. Well, that would have to be explained to me how you gave them what they wanted. So you knew what they wanted if you gave them what they wanted. But did they tell you that's what they wanted? Now, I haven't received any kind of resolution for what I experienced over there. I haven't received an apology. Nan apology have I received. So, if you disagree, I respect the fact that you disagree. However, go back and watch the replays. Check out the behavior. It's my observation, and I have a right to my observation. I have a right to my observation because it's how I'm observing your behavior in connection with your words. So if you want to be annoyed or upset with me, fine. However, it just might be you tomorrow. It just might be you when you disagree with a thought or a phrase over on Mr. Wilson's platform. Now, I'm not trying to drag Jay Wilson at all. And I prefaced it by saying I'm taking older brother privilege because it's what I've observed. It's just like the kid at the sandbox. Everybody's playing, but because one of the children chooses to play with you and the other person and another child, and you're not getting all that attention, you grab your toys and you want to go home. Or you grab your toys and you hold your toys hostage until they decide to leave that person alone and play with you. However, and I get that. I get that I'm not fighting someone that I don't know. That's not what I'm doing. So if it sounds like that, I beg your pardon. That's not what I'm doing. It just bothered me, the fact that what I saw was him making threats. And then putting himself in the position, quote unquote, of vlogfather, and you better respect me because you came out of this house. Negro. Let's understand that. Okay, because that is supposed to be vlogfather, and coming out of this house is symbolic. It is symbolic. But what you have done is taken, and please hear this with your ears and your spirit. You've taken what is virtual now, and making it literal and trying to trying to control someone by something virtual that you're flipping to control them off of YouTube. And how many times have you heard Mr. Wilson say, this is YouTube, this is virtual? Everything he said was directly related to mind control, controlling someone else's mind, and controlling their actions by controlling their minds. Look, people, if you all asleep, let me admonish you. And again, when I use the word admonish, let me give you the meaning. I strongly, almost violently encourage you to pay attention. Pay attention. Pay attention. Do not disregard the signs. Again, this is not coming for Jay Wilson at all. This is a wake-up call. Warning comes before destruction. This is a warning before destruction hits. Warning will always come before destruction. Dark clouds will always come before the storm, so that you will get yourself prepared for what's to come. Now, if you don't believe what I'm saying, just keep living. And I guarantee you, it is going to come to pass. As a matter of fact, it's already materializing. And those of us that recognize it, we see it and we acknowledge it. Okay. I think I've gotten that out now. This was not to insult anybody. This was not to offend anyone. Again, it's my observation of what I saw at that particular point. And to me, it was a warning to say that if you don't stop, something is going to happen to you. And that's not, let me put it to you this way. That's old church manipulation and control. That's what that was. So, you're saying that you have basically left all that behind. All that manipulation that you grew up under, you've left it. However, I'll say this again. I said this in a previous video. You got out of the church. You got from up under the manipulation. However, you didn't get the manipulation out of you. And that's the dangerous part. That's the dangerous part, because your outer appearance and what you try to convey to people is that you don't do that. That's not what you do. However, your behavior has forsaken your word. Your behavior has forsaken the words that you have spoken. And for all of those that may feel bad about it, I'm very sorry for you. However, if you just take a moment, take a breath, and look back at the things that have been happening, you will see what I'm saying. And that's what everybody's talking about. That's exactly what everybody's talking about, because they see it. They see you say one thing and do the total opposite. They hear you tell people this is what you should or should not do. And yet the very thing you're saying don't do, you're trying to do it in a slick way, and it shows you up. I'm not going to say be consistent. I'm going to say be real. I respect you more being real. If this is who you are, be who you are. At any rate, if you're not, time will show you up. Your behavior will show you up. And to those of us that our eyes are open, we see you. We totally see you. And it's not a pretty sight. And then you get sort of kind of, I want to say, irritated, annoyed about it because people believed in you. People still believe in the word that you give. However, there is no congruency in your actions, in your behaviors, and what you say. And I really don't like to use the H word loosely, but those are the signs of not just a hypocrite, but a master manipulator. A master manipulator. And when I notice that, there's nothing you can tell me. You can't tell me anything about the Lord. You can't tell me anything about how prophetic you are. Because I'm going to tell you something. And for all of you that don't know, let me share this with you. Put this in your toolbox. Because I'm saying it now, but you're going to need it. There are a lot of prophets out here. A lot of prophets. However, there's two different kinds of prophets. There are the prophets of God, and then there are false prophets. False prophets can prophesy and you see it come to pass. However, the sign of a true prophet or a prophet of God is that whatever they prophesy is going to lead you to a relationship with the Father. Okay? A prophet of God, when they prophesy, it is to bring you into relationship with God. But a false prophet prophesies and it comes to pass to make you indebted to him. And see, and if I was in a church right now, I would expect hollering hallelujah and amen, because it's the God's honest truth. It's the God's honest truth. That's exactly what it is. A false prophet will prophesy and the prophecy will come to pass. However, it is for him to become endeared to the people to whom he's prophesying. So that at the end, they will control you, they will control your house, they will control your purse. Just wanted to let that sink in. That's why it is so important. It is so very, very important that you develop and invest in the development of discernment. So when someone is standing in front of you, you're able to discern exactly where they're coming from. You're able to discern where they're coming from so that you won't be, quote unquote, gooped. So that you won't be gooped. So that you won't be tricked. So that you won't be manipulated. So you won't be controlled. And again, I have to say this again to everyone that is under the sound of my voice. This is not something I heard or something I read. This is something that I have experienced in my own life. I've experienced it. So I share it with you to empower you so that you can recognize the wolf in sheep's clothing. Now, again, I'm not calling Brother Jay a wolf in sheep's clothing. I'm just saying at this point that he has lost his way. The benefit of the doubt, he has lost his way. Because again, when I hear you say it's about a coin, it's about a coin, constantly it's about a coin, and I'm going to get my coin, then that means to me that the soul work, which is supposed to be your first concern, it means that the soul work is now second. If it's second, it definitely isn't number one. Your coin and getting that coin is number one. And what profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? What does it profit? And we don't even have to go to the love of money as the root of all evil. What profiteth a man to be so concerned about the coin that you lose your soul? And the reason why you're losing your soul, number one, is because you called yourself pastor. You started the church without boundaries. You pulled out that Bible on Sundays at 2:00. So, is that part of gooping the children? Again, when you see these things, you ask these questions of yourself. Number one, what am I seeing? And in what I'm seeing, are you actually telling me, especially by that sermon on Sunday morning, on Sunday afternoon, stop gooping the children? Are you telling me that you're gooping the children? You're saying this at the front door, but around the back door, you're gooping the children, you're tricking the children? And all I can say again is wow. Just wow.